going,
Yeah,
Scott?
good, man. No pressure. Just tell everybody what's going on, right?
Yeah, no, I wanted you, I just wanted to, sort of hype you up right now so you can, so you can blow our minds.
That's probably the opposite's going to happen. No,
Yeah, but go ahead,
I
Scott.
and I missed the beginning part of it, so I apologize if I step on or repeat something that you were saying. But uh, I, I think, and I'm an older person, so I'm still doing it part time. But the lead generation has been great as far as just I don't have a big sphere of influence in my area, so I'm getting a lot of activity. The hard part for me, and I'm just honest to a fault probably, but is trying to really sort through all the leads that I'm getting and trying to really tackle everyone with the right path. And I don't think there is a right path, but it's just like they always say, test, test, test. So, and I'm a phone call person. So I try to call everybody as best I can. Some people don't react well to that. They don't not react well. They just don't answer the phone.
Mhm.
But the CRM is very helpful, keeping track of all that stuff. That's something I didn't do very well at the beginning was putting people in the right campaigns, what they're called, right?
Yeah, the right pipeline stages.
Pipeline stage.
Mhm.
So I updated that recently. It really just two reasons. The default things that they create for you are there by people who know what they're doing. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing as far as sending all these texts and the right keywords to use. And, I'm sure you guys do all that research to know what words react better to people in general. But I think that's the biggest thing that I will have. What I would say is using it into the full advantage that way. You just get a lot of people and you talk to other agents that are working, and I think it's different because of where they're coming from versus, their sphere or referrals type things of people who know you, versus what we're getting with the internet leads are not people that don't know you. They don't trust you. They don't know who you are. So trying to build any rapport, any communication, I think is great to that. And I've got a closing next Thursday. I put multiple offers in. I think we're going to get another deal. It's supposed to be tomorrow morning is when the deadline is, but just generating contacts is the biggest thing, and building relationships is what I think it all comes to be. The hard part for me was just kind of really, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It doesn't happen that way. I'm in Michigan. Homes are selling 3 days, 4 days. I mean, when they're out, the client I'm taking tonight is trying to find a house and they've got offers over asking, cash offers. It's been on the market today. The thing's book solid, so there's just no homes. I'm sure it's kind of the same all around, but I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but that's kind of my take. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad I made the investment in my business to get this jump started, because I don't know where I would be without it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's awesome, Scott. I'm happy to hear you, sort of excited about the investment, as excited as we are to have you on board and sort of getting such great results. So, I just had a couple questions here if you have some time. Just,
Yeah.
I don't want to make sure I'm intruding on your day or anything, but what made you decide to sort of start implementing online advertising, right? Like, was there no consistency or predictability in the other methods that you were using, or?
Well, I'm a brand new agent. I basically got my license the 1st of December. I did some research with my broker as well, and just a little leap of faith. What really pulled me towards you is the hokiest thing, right? It's like, if I don't close a deal, they'll give me my money back. It's just that simple, right? So if I waste the investment, it's not really a waste of investment. It's a waste of time. But even then, I'll run into people that might not buy within the year time frame or whatever it was, but just kind of helping me generate people. And the one guy I talked to does all these mailers, and he's a real experienced agent out in Vegas. The world's a different place, and hosting all these open houses and doing all these things. And it's a great idea, but the way the world is right now, you can't really do that everywhere. And he's in Vegas. I'm in Michigan, man. It going to have open houses in March and hanging out at someone's at the bakery and talking to people, and when there's a foot of snow on the ground and it's 20 degrees outside, it's not feasible. So I'm just trying to find a better way to generate people, I guess. And a little leap of faith, but like I said, you give me the kind of the guarantee there a little bit is, something that put my mind at ease a little bit. And I don't know how people try to be really passive with their decision to start a business, but I'm all in. I guess I'm still working. I just I just ran home from my 9 to 5. I got to pick up a client at 6, and we're driving kind of the other side of the city to go see a few homes. And that's my passion, is to jumpstart my future. The future starts today, and that's kind of what it was. And this is maybe a shortcut. Maybe it's not. I had a little bit of money to invest, so I was prepared for that, to make that investment. Not everybody probably has the money to just spend, but investing in yourself is important.
And did you did you find there was any sort of limiting beliefs before using paid advertising that you were, because I know a lot of agents, right, are going to say, online lead generation doesn't work, and it's a scam, and that's a lot of a limiting belief that a lot of people have. But a lot of people also find that when they take that leap of faith, right, it was actually not as serious as they thought. So I mean, how do you feel about paid advertising after sort of getting started with us?
I think everywhere you go, and I'm with Century 21, and they have a similar program. I'm not similar, but in the sense of there's things you can join from them and invest that way, and it's all just the same kind of thing. And they have, I don't know, this might be off topic, so I apologize for that, but you didn't give me much time to prepare. But
no worries. It's all last minute, but I mean, we appreciate you hopping on.
They have all these programs that they want to teach you to, these guys that show you scripts and tell you stuff on the phone and how to answer. And ultimately, from my perspective, it came down to, and I had a little bit of a sales background, and I like talking to people. I like homes. But it's ultimately just get off your hiney and do it. I mean, you can tell me everything you want to do that I should be doing, but if I don't do it, I'm not going to be successful. And I think this is, in my mind, a little bit of a jumpstart ahead. And I think because it's a little bit newer technology, or people don't have faith in it, it's not trackable yet. And even, I don't know, how long you guys been around? Not like what, a couple of years, maybe 3 or 4?
But 2 or 3 years, I believe.
So it's like, all right, well, the God, I can't remember, the Proj is the guy's name.
Prob, yeah.
Prob. Sorry, or manage it, whatever. He talks a good game, man, and it kind of got me. And like I said, I was ready to make an investment, and I wanted to jumpstart what I was doing. And it, like I said, it is a little bit of a leap of faith, and you gave me some support on that with a guarantee. And people who've been doing it for a long time. I mean, I don't know how old people are who are on the call, but when I bought my first house in 1997, there was no internet at all. The lady had a book of houses. She like flipped through to, we went and saw her, and it was like, that's what it came from. And now where it is today, people trying to harness people who are looking for homes online themselves and tracking them or joining things. Facebook is a thing. I mean, it's mostly for old people like me, but I think it's out there, and that's where people are looking. And I don't know what the dynamic is for you guys finding these people and sending them my way. But that's why I'm paying you, I guess, because I can't do it myself. But it's I'm getting people, and when the spring broke here, it's picked up quite a bit. It was a little trickle here there at the beginning, but again, when it was February-ish, people aren't thinking about moving yet, and just people say, oh yeah, people do move, and yeah, but not like they do in May and June and July over here anyway.
Right. Yeah, and that's with everywhere. I mean, we're seeing sort of just in general, right? Numbers are sort of, in attendance numbers, or even just number of, support tickets coming in. It all goes down because everybody's just now so swamped, and everybody's so busy now because everything's sort of, spring is springing. Everybody's really getting ready to move. There's places that restrictions are sort of getting a little more lenient where, people can really get into it and start buying. So it's definitely sort of the spring market coming up. It'll get a little more busy, and definitely same thing with all the leads that you have, right? They're going to start popping up saying, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to look. I'd like to look here. I'd like to look there. So like you mentioned, right, you sort of bought your house in the 90s, and there was no online, marketing, no really way to find a house online. Like how important would you say now that an online presence would be for an agent?
Gosh, I think, and I'm not as good as I need to be on it, but videos of anything, even, just quick little hitters, and anything that draws attention to you gets people to look at you, that your posts are interesting, or at least just kind of not 100% real estate. But gosh, I try to picture yourself without your phone in your hand. I mean, that's the way the world is now. I mean, let alone the internet. Everything's so dependent on that. It's got to be, I mean, engagement has got to be 95% of the people, that are on it. I mean, my folks are in their 80s, and they're not on the internet a whole lot, but they're still on it. They don't trust it to put their credit card information in or anything like that yet, but it's everybody has at least a source for it, and is using it to some capacity. So it's immeasurable. I wouldn't know how you even would reach all these people. I mean, go knock on doors. I mean, with the
Yeah.
cold, with the COVID and all that, I'm like, people don't even want you in their house, let alone not door knocking.
Yeah, people like, I know, even sort of the money you would put into, like, putting your name on a billboard, or putting your name into like a bus stop station, like, all that money that you could be putting into these things that are not trackable, right? It's now all trackable, and it's all targeted, right? So it's very, I'd always say, and especially what you mentioned with the video, right? Like, if you're putting out video content as well as, running paid advertising, right, you're becoming now what those omnipresent agents would be when you'd be sitting at the bus stop, like, back in the 80s and the 90s, and you'd say, oh, I see this person everywhere. I guess they must be sort of the best in town, right?
Sure.
So you mentioned, sorry, you had a closing coming up, right? What was the results exactly that you'd achieved? So I could just reiterate.
Yeah, it's well, basically this was he was looking for a cash buyer, was looking for two smaller properties in the urban area. Pontiac, Michigan is where I'm kind of a suburb of where I am. And we ultimately found we couldn't find one. We couldn't get one in. I mean, here, the showings, you had to put an offer in to go see the houses. That's how crowded they were, that they didn't want people to go see them unless you were a serious buyer, let alone a pre-approval and all that kind of stuff. But worked with him over, I want to say, it's probably you could probably go through my thing and see that I've talked to the guy probably 1,000 times since I don't want to say end of February-ish, I think. Somewhere in there is when I engaged with him, Daniel. And but again, getting communication. And that's the biggest thing that I think all these programs that you pay to go sit and hear a guy talk for a day is just pick up the phone and talk to people and try different things. And, I was really reluctant at first because he's a Spanish guy, Mexican guy, and he doesn't speak great English. But, a lot of it with the texting, that was made it easier as well. He didn't feel uncomfortable about his English, and I didn't feel uncomfortable trying to talk loud because he doesn't understand the language or whatever. But yeah, just the way the CRM works, and back and forth. And we went and saw a few properties, and then we just kind of stumbled across this one. And this is a multifamily. It's not a huge sale, but nonetheless, it's a $100,000 closing, and it's full commission. So it's what happens. And the same with the next one was, it's a house is a little bit further away, a little bit more money. I did say, I don't know if it was you or one of your cohorts, we moved my circle a little bit because I was getting not the ideal candidates at first. So I'd be watching that as well to have these guys help you with what, we moved my circle a couple miles further away from that city. I was getting $600 rental people calling me, which is fine. I've got one of those. The lady's moving in the house Tuesday. So that's another one. It's small money, but it's money. And, I've gotten better calls, better feedback, better clients coming from, because we were paying more attention to where the area was coming from. So we were very reactive to that. I mean, within a week or so of it being mentioned, I started getting different clients. So that was great that way too.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. And I do remember, I think that was, the team in the back had sort of up the Facebook targeting a little bit, sort of just to explain to the viewers here, like what you meant by moving the target, right? If you're ever finding that the leads that you're getting are sort of out of place, or, they're a little bit off of your market, and, maybe they're a little bit low, right? Always let us know, and we can change these things up. But, a couple, just one or two more questions here, right? In terms of the results you saw with the Facebook ads, right? Like, what was the process like from when a lead first comes in, right? Like, what does your follow-up strategy typically look like?
Well, I tried to, and now when it was slower, I would try to call pretty quick. When I first get somebody logged in. I don't remember exactly. I don't know the exact terminology you would use, but when someone answered or put their information in, it would auto generate, hey, thanks for reaching out. I hear you're looking for homes and blah, blah, blah. This dollar value. And then the second text goes out, and I would try to call. I would try to call them pretty quick after that. And, because of the timing, it was, like I said, it was pretty cold outside. So people who are looking at homes or filling out a form are at least kind of interested. I would call a lot of people. And like I said, it's just my style. I'm a talking person. I'm not a good texting person. So, and I was excited. I mean, hey, I got one type thing, it's, you want to jump on them and smother them and pet them and hug them and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I was, and it worked okay. I kind of gotten more now with being busier, and I know this is right, but I'm gonna tell you what I do. When the people finally respond to something, because you get a lot of them are just fishing, and they do get updates from us, so we are engaging them, even though I'm not personally doing it myself. If someone logs in at a weird time or something like that, I'm not gonna call somebody at 11:30 at night. Although I did accidentally butt dial somebody yesterday at 6:30 and she answered the phone in the morning. I had a good conversation. But so yeah, just again, trying different things, and you don't know the person on the other end of the phone. So you can't say, well, it's this demographic, they like to text, or this demographic, they like to do this, because you don't know. It's just a name, right? And so just trying to, that I'm busy, now that I'm busier doing other things, I can't always react I think you guys say what, 5 minutes or 1 minute?
5 minutes is ideal for speed to lead, right? If we 90 seconds would be perfect, but under 5 minutes, that's ideal.
So,
yeah.
I don't always do that. I don't always get to that. So especially now, but, and again, because I'm working another job, it's tough at times to really, to do that. And hopefully I'm trending in the right direction. I have plans to get the heck out of my 9 to 5 and dedicate more time to this. A couple more things lined up, and that's where we'll be at, and I can do that. But
yeah, and it's from there, right? You want to scale your efforts,
sure,
and be able to sort of put more money into the ads, right? Get more people coming in, and then sort of outsource, right, all the follow-up, so you can just deal with appointments. That's sort of the master plan that agents should always come into the program with. Just another question quickly here on your follow-up. If a lead doesn't pick up the phone, right, was there a specific process you would take from there? Also, did you have a specific number of calls you were trying to make to the leads as soon as they generated, right? I know a lot of people use the bulldog method of sort of going 3 calls, 2 texts. Give me a little insight on sort of what that looked like for you.
I would love to say I have a better plan than that, but basically when I come home, I sit down and I look to see what activities happened that day. If I missed something, go to the where it shows all the blocks, all the campaigns.
I can't remember opportunities tab, yeah.
Opportunities, and see what transpired that day. And I just try to hit them as hard as I can. Speed dial people. I've tried the, I think you guys or somebody said, call that ring 3 times and hang up, and then call them back in a minute or two. And I like that because, and I've had that success with that a couple of times, because people, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I had to hang up. I had somebody else calling me. So it's pretty good, when you call back, people don't typically answer the phone the first time. My generation does, but maybe younger people don't. But that, it's like, hey, someone's calling me. What's going on? Mm-hmm. So that's just different things like that. I just try to see what activities happening and what's coming. I don't have a master plan on that yet. I probably need to have a better track. But I do, like you taught me last week, I think the group text where I can send the same text to everybody.
Yeah, the mass database
at one whack. I like that. But the difficult thing with that is, especially maybe at the beginning when you haven't had any engagement with people, but when you start having engagement with people and talking to them or having text back and forth, it's not specific to them. Right. And so that's what I won't say I would caution that, but I would also kind of maybe have more campaigns to put people in specifically where we at in the stage of, okay, yes, I sent them a home list. They said they don't like any of them, or they love these 2, and we're looking the next level. So just trying to have more specific campaigns that I can put people in to track it better from my side is something that I need to work on.
And yeah, for in terms of the database text, right, you have the ability to sort of create those new tabs, right? Those new pipeline stages. And then, obviously everybody's going to have a little bit of a different sort of approach to follow up. So you can sort of, mold the CRM to have, buckets where you can drop people like, oh, okay, I've sent this person to a lender, maybe this person I tried to book them an appointment and they didn't really respond, but they do seem like they're interested. And being able to send blast out to those people, right, when you have like 1,000 leads or something like down the line, because it will get a little hectic to keep up with the CRM. But making sure you're organized and being able to send out mass database text like that's it's a very key. So just two last questions here. Sorry, I don't want to keep you too long, Scott. I know you've got something coming up now. But just, what was your goal when you were making those phone calls, right? The reason I ask this is because a lot of clients, right, they're going to come on and, they might have their goal in mind of just, okay, I can get a homes list out to them and maybe have them follow up with me, right? But we notice that the agents that kill it, right, are going to be the people that are actually booking in for that appointment. So, did you have a specific goal when you were making these calls to the leads?
At first, the goal was, because I was new and I wasn't understanding I get the concept, but I'm just not a very aggressive person. That's why the closing is the hard part for me. But just trying to have any engagement is the biggest thing for me. I mean, the meeting thing, setting up with COVID and all that kind of stuff, it's not where you can, and up here, you can't meet outside, and there's no like outdoor cafes when it's 10 degrees outside. So I got the fact that they weren't going to necessarily meet with me, but the goal was a phone call, just to get off the texting and the emailing and actually engage with somebody and talk with them. I think that brings it more, humanizes me more than a person. And lately I've been sending a picture of my business card with any correspondence to them, at least the first one, when they're still engaging. Hey, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms do you want? What's the area we're looking for? What's our budget? That kind of thing. Just again, to personalize it somewhat. But yeah, obviously I just want to have a conversation and meet with them. And but that hasn't happened. I honestly, the first time I've met most of these people is at a showing or at a viewing of a house. Mm-hmm. So, hey, find a house you like. Let's go see it. And even if it's just dragging them out. I mean, the house we're going to go see now, these are at the top of this kid's budget. They're bidding. One of the homes already has a $20,000 cash offer over asking the first day. He can't afford it, but I haven't engaged him yet. I haven't talked to him. I'm going to go sit in the car with him and have a conversation for probably a half hour there and a half hour back. And that's my goal, is to personalize myself, build a relationship. And so I can't remember the first three things you say: trust, no factor, trust,
like and trust, right?
There you go. So try to build that. I can't remember what it is, but I know what I need to do. So and just to me, it's meeting people on any level besides texting. And I'm a huge fan of the texting and emailing, but at some point you want to have a conversation. I think that's what draws people in is when you actually have a conversation.
Yeah, you can't stay on text forever, and you definitely can't close a deal through text. you gotta meet them in person at some point. So you might as well sort of make that the goal, to get in front of them as soon as possible.
And just to tell everybody, I think I started like beginning of February, I want to say something like that, right? Mm-hmm. You might not have it in front of you, but I think that's about when I started, sometime in February. So it took a couple of weeks, and so really it's been 2 months ish, I want to say, that I've been with you guys, mm-hmm. something like that. So, you just keep building people and building contacts and clienteles. It comes. I mean, there were some weeks when not a lot was happening and you get down a little bit, but it's not going to be, the success rate is not 100%, right? So it's going to be a derivative of that, and more success. Some weeks are more successful than others, and small victories count. And then you just have to keep pushing and keep trugging. And like when you don't want to, and that's when I had the one lady, I didn't feel like making the phone call, but I called her at whatever it was when I had a crappy day at my other job, and I got a positive response from her. She answered the phone and we talked, and sent her a homing list and all that kind of stuff. And then, when you're down, you just got to keep pushing. That's the biggest thing. And I don't want to be so cliche. Every no means a yes, or every no is closer to a yes, but it kind of is that way. And you got to just keep pushing, because it is a longer term. The outside influences I got were like, oh yeah, it's going to be a 12 to 18 month process dealing with all these clients. And, I haven't experienced that. I think people have been so cooped up in their houses, they want to get out of there. And the process is not what the perception was back in the day. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's through how you guys are doing your analyzing and bringing people to me. But for the most part, people are looking to buy pretty quick, and it's not the same months time frame. I mean, and that's part of it where I'm at. It's like, hey, if you're not looking to buy the house in the next month or so, I'm not even gonna bother sending you a list. I'll keep you on a trickle when you decide what you want to do,
Right, because
but
they're all going to be gone by the
they're gonna be
time.
gone. There's no point
They're
in
going to
sending
be
you a
gone by the
list
time
for
next week.
a month from now. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Scott, I mean, last question here, right? Did just and you sort of went over it right now, but did you have any sort of golden nuggets that you could leave with any agent that's just getting started, right? So they can sort of take your trajectory and really just sort of kill it right out of the gate.
As long as they're not in the Waterford, Michigan area, I will tell them. I'm just kidding. Um, again, just try different things. Don't be stuck in a rut. And you got to follow. You have to just be on top of it. You have to take your career seriously and be motivated and just keep going. I mean, that's what it is. Just whatever. Like I said, I work till 5 o'clock and I put 3 or 4 hours in every night. Even if you're just looking at different homes and just staying on top of your game of what's going on. So when the next person calls you and has a conversation, you don't know where they're from. You don't know what they are. But if you're rounded that way. But again, I just say the program kind of leads itself to success, but you do have to jump in and carry the ball as well. And just don't get stuck doing one thing. I've tried different things. I've tried to make myself uncomfortable with things, but I need to push myself and I haven't done the voicemail right away. I got to do that. And then I got to be more active in videos. And those are the two things that everybody pushes that are going to make you more successful. And even on your Facebook posts, I don't know, Century 21 has posts on top of your posts that go on and draw more attention. It draws more attention to you. I think opens your sphere up. But again, I think the program that they've got going on generates, I don't say a lot of people, but the other agents you're working with that are working side by side with me say they're working with 4 or 5 people. And right now I have 140 leads. I'm working with, basically, I feel like I'm working with 128 people type thing. Not all at the same level, but it's just staying on top of them and trying to know where everybody is. Like I said, take advantage of the CRM, and because it helps a lot. So I don't know if that's really a nugget per se, but it's just do.
No, that's definitely something that a lot of people might come in and just sort of not understand, right? Is that you got to take it, lead by lead, and you got to be, actually following up with these people and, putting the work in like you've been doing, right? It's going to take like the sweat equity, right? It's always going to require sweat effort either to convert these online leads.
I think there's probably a percentage of people who probably wouldn't need to do anything. That you could probably just, send the automated stuff and be okay. But that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what my goal is. So if your goal is to do this on the side and sell a couple homes a year, yeah, I'm sure you could do it. But I don't think that's why most people are doing it. Most people want to get independence or whatever the goal is to be more successful. So
yeah, that's sort. And I know you said you're working full time, part time, right, or part time agent. So I know your goal is right to sort of, break out of that 9 to 5 and sort of fulfill that full time agent job. So I mean, you've got, sort of the motivation, right, and it's just about finding that reason to be so motivated to use the system. Because, yeah, I mean, we've got agents that use the system and close upwards of like 15 deals a year just with the one lead source, right? So
sure.
It's you're capable of doing, as much as you put in, right? The amount of work you're putting in is the amount that you're going to get out of the program. So, you're a prime example of that, Scott. So I really appreciate you hopping on the call here today.
Not a problem. Thank you.
So, I mean, just one last question. I just wanted to, confirm.
Dude, how many last questions you got, man?
No, sorry. I just wanted to make sure, right? So you said you had one closing, and did you have any other clients under contract, or I know you said you'd gone and seen a couple of homes with some people.
I have, and I try to get them under contract as quick as I can. I don't push it when I first meet them, but I at least hand them a copy. What we have in Michigan is kind of a exclusive buyer's agreement that I at least show them and say, hey, if we're going to put an offer on something, I have to have this signed by you. And the positive thing of being on the buyer side here, especially, is in Michigan, the seller pays both sides of it. So I am no cost to them. Literally, I don't cost them anything. I push that a lot. But yeah, so I've got 4 clients under contract right now. I've got a couple other that I'm the kid I'm going to go see now. I haven't met him before, so he's not under contract yet, but hopefully he will be tonight. And it's just, then you're kind of locking in, but it's building rapport to present that to them. You don't want to I don't hammer them with it when I first see them, but I just have it with me and say, hey, at some point when we put an offer in, I need to work for you. So this is what locks us into each other a little bit. So, but yeah, so I'd say I got one closing for sure that's booked next week. I've got a couple offers in. I've got 4 clients that I have under contract. I've got a couple other that are close. But close doesn't count until it's done, right? So I haven't put them in that box yet.
Well, I mean, those are some awesome results for 2 months, Scott. I mean, that's I'd say keep it up, and I mean, scale the ad spend a little bit, and you'll be on trajectory to be, probably one of our most successful case studies down the line. That's awesome to hear that you're doing so well. So I'm not gonna keep you any longer. I know
I'm just kidding.
there's probably a million one last questions there. My apologies. So I know you've got a client interaction that you've got coming up at 6 here. So I'll let you go. I really appreciate you hopping on today, Scott. That was awesome.
Not a problem, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll always be in touch. You know where to find us.
Yep.
And yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one, Scott. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, guys. Yep.